Pardon?
It's the first time that Pablo's doing this class.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So Pablo, we're going to go through this question, okay? And then we're going to see an answer that one of the students wrote, and then we're going to correct that answer. Okay. So Beatriz, can I get you to read out the question, please?
The question, the first one, you recently received. Okay, you recently received an email from your English-speaking friend Pat, inviting you to stay and asking you to a special party. Read Pat's email and the notes you have made. Then write an email to Pat using all your notes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're writing an email. So what kind of tone do we think this will be? How formal?
Informal, I think.
Yeah, exactly, because we're writing to a friend. Okay, so here in the letter, she's talking about July, asking if you like to write and visit in July. That is perfect. Talking about an 18th birthday and camping. Okay, and so it says to write your email, you must use grammatically correct sentences with accurate spelling and punctuation and in a style appropriate for the situation. Okay, so like Beatriz said, the appropriate style would be an informal one. And so it's structured a bit like a letter, isn't it?
It's
still with paragraphs and still with like Pat and like with greetings and things. But the tone of the actual letter is informal. And then I'll just quickly show you this is the mark scheme. Okay, so you get points for communication, how clear it is, if you have to make an effort to understand it, how appropriate your vocabulary is, and also the variety and positioning of your vocab. So if you're repeating the same word a lot, that's not great. And we need to have lots of different synonyms for things too. And word positioning is very important because that can affect the understanding. And we need to have at least one connective or linking expression per paragraph, and one second or third conditional, passive voice, idioms. And then the biggest points are the most important bits are your organization. So even in informal ones, you need to make sure that you've got the right like structure, the right paragraphs. So always be thinking about how do I need to lay this out? And then the grammar, obviously, is very important. Okay, so let's see what email she wrote then. Let me just need to read the first paragraph out, please.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Dear Pat, how are you? I'm so glad to hear you. If you had come in Christmas to my house, it wouldn't have spent a lot of time. I agree with you. In July would be fantastic due to both relying on the university and all the exams would be finished in this month.
Okay, great. And then Marta, can I get you to read the next one?
Yes. The 18th of birthday? 18th birthday is a special date. I want to give him a gift nevertheless. I certainly don't know the taste of your brother. It's a kind of warmth. I remember a time you say, Tim is fond of doing sport, but it will be better if you give me some ideas.
Okay, great. And then Adrián, the final paragraph.
Yes. It's a good plan. However, in my point of view, it's so uncomfortable. Besides, I don't like so much the nature. I prefer visit Liverpool, which isn't far from your village, because I have never been here. We could spend several days to visit the city and looking for unique places. See you soon.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'll just give you a couple of seconds to look over that. Just have a think about how accurate it is. Do you think it's the right tone? Do you think it's a good letter? What's your general impression? Okay, Danielle, what would you say? How accurate do you think this is?
The register of the letter is informal, so that's good. I can see that she, I don't know if it was she or he, but she used different. She use like conditionals.
Mhm. Okay.
Some
Anyone else?
expression that's
Yeah.
fond of.
Yeah, that's a lovely
That way.
expression. Mhm. Yeah. And what about the accuracy of it, anyone? Is it easy to understand?
Yes.
Yeah. Or who said no?
I said no.
Yes,
Okay.
meaning I don't find it easy to understand.
Yeah, that's true. She has made some they've made some quite big grammar mistakes, I would say. But we'll go through those now, okay? So let's look at the first paragraph. So in the first two sentences, can you guys see any grammar mistakes there? What's going on here?
I'm not sure if it's correct, but it's not hear from you.
Exactly, it's hear from you. If to hear you would just be to hear their voice, right? To hear from you is to receive news. Yeah, so that is a great way to start a letter. I'm so glad to hear from you. Yeah, from like an email. It's a lovely way to start a letter. So she had the right idea. Okay, and then this next one.
Yes, I think that this conditional, I mean, it's a good way to use a conditional, but I don't understand the second part.
Yeah, if you had come at Christmas to my house, it wouldn't have spent a lot of time. What is she trying to say, do you think?
I think that they wouldn't be able to be together a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly. We could say wouldn't have, so it would have been I wouldn't have been able to spend a lot of time. But that is a great thing to say, to spend a lot of time. That's the exactly right expression, like to pass some time with you, to spend time with you. But she used the wrong tense. Spent is in the past, you need to use the future or the present, spend. Okay, for it to make sense. But again, she tried the conditional, but it didn't quite work. Okay, and then here, I agree with you. In July would be fantastic due to both rely on the university and all the exams would be finished in this month. Laura Cabo, what would you say here?
I think due to is wrong because it's due to something and he put a sentence before, so
Yeah.
yeah,
What
I
would you
will
say
put
instead?
because and that's all.
Yeah. I would say we can use due to, but it's just maybe a bit formal.
Yeah, also.
Yeah. And then this bit here, both rely on the university and all the exams would be finished in this month. Does that make sense, Laura? What does it mean to rely on?
Like trust?
Exactly. So does that make sense?
No.
Okay. What would you say instead? What would you say instead? Yeah. Anyone? What's she trying to say? I agree with you. In July would be fantastic because of university. Yeah. And all exams will be finished in this month. Martha? Yeah.
Now, yes, that this person think that in this month he finished the exam, so it's our time to spend with her.
Yeah, okay. So what could we say instead? Should we try and rewrite that? I agree with you. In July would be fantastic because instead of rely, what word can we use? Rely. And I think we need to say
It's depend.
Depend on.
I think we need to change the thing. The context of rely. Maybe we could say in July. Pardon?
Maybe we will have finished.
Yeah, we will have, not would be finished. But she used the passive voice, which is really nice. All the exams would be finished in this month. But we can have here instead, will be finished. Be finished. And then it's not in this month. I would say by, and then I would say by then. Yeah, by then. It's a bit more like by then or at this moment. It's kind of a bit more accurate to say that rather than in this month. And the preposition we have is, yeah. And then to rely on, yeah, well.
Is an idiom? Is idioms?
No. No, it's like contar con, rely, to rely.
Yes,
yeah?
yes,
To
but
rely,
it's like the an idiom.
collocation.
Yes, a
Do you
collocation.
mean? Yeah, it's a collocation. Yeah, you have to have rely on. Yeah. But I just think we both rely on the university. It kind of, when you rely on something, you get like emotional support out of it, right? So it's just not the right kind of phrase to use. But she's, yeah, exactly, used the right thing to say here. But what we could say, I would say, we could say it would suit us better. Have you heard this expression before? To suit someone, what does that mean?
That it's perfect for you.
Yeah, exactly. To suit means it's convenient, yeah? But also a suit as a noun is like what you wear, right? It's like a costume. It's what you wear to work. But to suit, I'll just write that here, is to suit someone, to be convenient. I would say that's better to say, I agree with you. In July, it would be fantastic, or July would be fantastic because it would suit us both better as all the university exams will be finished by then. Yeah, I might just rewrite that whole sentence at the bottom so you can see. Can we think of another way to say I agree with you, maybe?
It's an idiom, I see eye to eye with you, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, I see eye to eye. I would say that's maybe a bit formal for this context, but that's a great one to say that you agree with someone. We could maybe say, yeah.
I share your point, maybe.
Yeah, I can see your point. Or I'm on the same page as you. As you about July, maybe. That would suit us both better. And then I think she said due to, and we could say maybe as both of as are all our university exams will be finished. Yeah, okay, so that's a much better sentence. Again, she had the right idea, just need to tweak the use of the conditional, the sentence, and then the suitability of the adjectives, okay?
Sarah?
Yeah.
You write the same thing, but with another word.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I just made it make a bit more sense. Yeah. Okay, so then this next one, Fernando, what do you think about this next sentence? 18th birthday is a special day. I want to give him a gift. Nevertheless, I certainly don't know the taste of your brother. It's a can of worms.
Sorry. I see eye to eye with you is like I agree with you.
Yeah, if you see eye to eye, yeah, with someone, it's usually used, I think, it's quite a dramatic one. It's like, think like, I don't know, old fashioned times. But if you see eye to eye with someone, it means, yeah, like you agree with them. Okay, but this next one, 18th birthday.
I think, nevertheless, I certainly is a bit formal and it doesn't make sense altogether.
Okay, what would you put instead then? In the place of What's the other way to
nevertheless,
say nevertheless?
I will put however.
Yeah, however,
Could
you
we
have a
say
problem. Yeah.
no matter what?
No, because no matter what means that like no matter what means that you will always do it. Like I guess you could say I want to give him a gift no matter what. However, I don't know the taste of your brother, but that wouldn't really make so much sense because it's like saying I want to give him a gift. I don't really know how to explain it. No matter what. I think it has a different meaning to nevertheless, basically.
I have a question about nevertheless.
Yeah.
Nevertheless should go always at the beginning of the sentence because I always put it on the beginning.
That's a good question. I would say typically yes, but it is best to put it at the beginning of the sentence, but you don't have to. It's just used to introduce like a contradiction, yeah? So it can be used in the middle of a sentence if that's when you're introducing it, but obviously sometimes it makes more sense and it's easier to use at the beginning.
Okay.
But in this case, she's saying, it's a bit like you can use however, like sin embargo, you can use that at any point in the sentence, right? But it makes more sense, I would say, like in terms of when you're writing an argument, to put it at the beginning. Okay, so we have however, or you can, yeah, however, I don't, yeah?
We could write but.
Yeah, we could write but, definitely. But I would say, however, is maybe a bit more like appropriate, yeah? It's a bit of a nicer word than but. But this bit is lovely here. I don't know the tastes of your brother, okay? That's a lovely expression, the taste, their likes, what they enjoy. But this bit here, it's a can of worms. This is an idiom. Does anyone know what it means? It's quite a strange one. Any ideas, anyone? No. A can of worms, imagine a can of worms, right? It's like really gross, right? And there's lots of things going on. It's kind of like a problem that's kind of never ending, or it's a really, really big problem, okay? It's a can of worms. But I would say it's kind of not really, it's not the best place to use it here. It technically makes sense, but it doesn't really, because she's trying to say what she's saying here. I certainly don't know the taste of your brother. It's kind of unknown to her, but it kind of makes it sound like it's I don't know. It just makes it sound like it's a bit different. It's a can of worms. I think we could say instead. Any ideas of what we could say instead of like a can of worms? Any idioms? Or just a normal sentence?
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of worm? It's like a big problem or what?
Yeah, a big problem that's never ending. Yeah, there's no solution to it. There's always more problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm actually quite impressed that they know this one because it's quite a strange one. But okay, what can we say instead then? What do you think she's trying to say? I want to give him a gift, however, I don't know the taste of your brother. She could just leave it at that. Or she could say, it's a nightmare. Or if we want to do that, it's a nightmare. Or there's a good one you can say here. I am pulling at straws. Yeah, that means you're trying to do something, but you're not sure what it's doing. Like you're not doing it very well. Like you're grasping at straws. Maybe it's better to say. If you're grasping at straws, it means you're trying to do something, but you have kind of no idea what you're doing. Yeah, he's grasping at straws. Imagine like you're trying to make something, but all you can do is pull straws. That's what it means. But again, because it's an email, you don't really have to use such advanced like idioms, so formal idioms. So if you don't know, if you're struggling to find an idiom, then don't stress too much about it because it's only one. It's like there's 2 points for it, but you can better focus on vocab and things in general. Okay, and then this next bit. I remember a time you said Tim is fond of doing sport. But it would be better if you give me some ideas. Anything wrong with that one? Anything you would correct?
A time is too much general? Oh, it's okay.
No, it's okay. I would maybe say, you could say maybe once. Maybe I remember once you said, or I remember when you said, or you can say, I remember you saying to me, yeah, to use a gerund. Or I remember hearing that Tim is fond of doing sport, make it in the passive. But again, here, lovely expression, fond of, to enjoy doing. And then I would say we need to put something in here, but it would be better if you could give me some ideas, yeah? Because she's used the would again, she needs to make it, use another hypothetical, okay? Okay, here. It's a good plan. However, in my point of view, it's so uncomfortable. And she's talking here in the text they said about the camping, right? In the questions, they had to mention that she didn't want to go camping. So that's what she's talking about. So I would say, try and mention that. Instead of saying it's, I would say camping sounds like a good plan. However, in my point of view, it's so uncomfortable. Besides, I don't like so much the nature. I perfect visit Liverpool, which isn't far from your village because I have never been here. We could spend several days to visit the city and looking for unique places. Okay, Mireia, what would you say about this one? This first 2 sentences?
The prefect, I suppose, is prefer.
Yeah. I think then we can also say, need to say, I would prefer to. Yeah. Okay, and then anything in the first sentence?
In my point of view is on my point of view, isn't it? Or
no, that's correct. Preposition is correct, but I would say it's a bit too formal. In my point of view, if you're talking to a friend and you're asking about camping holiday, in my point of view, it sounds a bit formal. Yeah. You could say, however, I think, or to me, it seems that. And then here, the use of uncomfortable, in English, it's not used as commonly as Spanish. Like incómodo, you use it a lot, right? But we use it for something that's like physically uncomfortable. Yeah, for something that's physically uncomfortable. So something that actually hurts. So like clothes or a place that's uncomfortable. It's not really used so much about feelings or opinions. Like so I would say, what do you think is a better word to use instead of uncomfortable then? Anyone? Uncomfortable.
But Sarah, If it's
Yeah.
referred to the camping, it's not well said uncomfortable, because it's a place that you don't find comfortable.
Yeah, I would just say that it's still not the right word to use. She could, if she said here, I find sleeping in a tent or something, but just in general, I would say it's not the right word to use. Okay. So what do you think we could say instead? Sorry, I didn't hear. Danielle, did anyone say anything?
I don't know.
No. Okay. So, or you could say it seems, however, it seems to me that it could be more enjoyable. It could be, I would prefer to, I would, it's not, it's uncomfortable. It's, yeah, maybe potentially like a bit boring, a bit unenjoyable. What other words like that? What can we think of? Come on, guys. I know you know some. Yeah.
Sarah, I
Yeah.
can say it could be an inconvenience.
Inconvenient. Yeah. But again, it's not really like, I would say that that's not maybe the best word to use in this context, inconvenient. I would say try and use like an emotive word, like an emotive word. Just sort of camping. Camping is, you can make me dramatic. You can say camping is my worst nightmare. Or camping, or like I find, you could say here, to make this make sense, you could say I find camping uncomfortable. Yeah, that would make sense to use uncomfortable. I find camping uncomfortable. Okay. And then here, besides, I don't like so much the nature. Do we need that article there? Do we need that?
I think no, because nature is something general.
Yeah, exactly, we don't need that. And then here, this expression, I don't like so much. Is that correct?
Too much instead of so much, but I don't know.
No, so we would say maybe I don't really like, or I would say instead, I don't really like, or I really don't like nature. Yeah. So much, I would say it's not really used in the same in English that much. When you're talking about opinions, you don't say, oh, I like it so much. You don't say that, or you say, I like it a lot, or I really like this. And then here, I prefer to visit Liverpool, which isn't far from a village, because I've never been here. Well,
I will put there.
Yeah, exactly. But again, that really goes like that would have been a perfect conditional there. I'm just going to try and make this a bit smaller so we can see everything. Okay. And then this last bit, we could spend several days to visit the city looking for unique places.
Visiting instead of to visit.
Yeah, visiting, exactly. You don't need the infinitive there. Yeah, and looking for unique places. Again, that's great. And then see you soon, kisses. I would just say, we don't really say that in English, we don't say kisses, but see you soon, great thing to say. I would just say see you soon and then your name, okay? Okay, so we got through it, we did it, we've corrected it. Now it's time to mark it, okay? So what do you think? I'm just gonna shrink this a bit because unfortunately I can't get it all on the screen. What do you think then? How well do you think that you answered this text overall and after now going through in a bit more detail? Anyone? Okay, Danielle, what do you think?
In communication, maybe one or out of two.
Yeah, 1 out of 2. Anyone else agree? What do you think? Maria, what do you think? Communication. Do you think she's communicated clearly?
I think the same as Daniel, because some sentences, if you haven't read the email before, you can't understand it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then vocabulary. That's out of 1. Should we give her the point for that? I would say yes. I think she's used to nice vocabulary. Yeah. I think she has special date, and then we have also, first of all, we need to correct this sentence. Like 18th birthday is a special date. I would say it's better to say hit an 18th birthday is a special day rather than date. Just quickly, forgot about that one. Okay, and then so vocabulary, yes, we're going to give her the 1 for that. And then variety and position. What do we think about that? That's out of 2.
Maybe 1.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 out of 2. Not 3. And then we have the next one is connectives and linking expressions. Has she used lots of those?
0.
0. What do you ask someone else think? Adrian, what do you think? Connectives and linking expressions.
He used some connections, but they're not well used. So
okay, so that's out of 2. So what we're going to give her for that?
Maybe 0 or 1. But...
Okay, yeah. What do we think? 0 or 1? Okay, I'll put 0. I'm a harsh marker. Okay, all right, passive. And then, okay. What about the next ones, guys? Conditionals. Did she use them? And did she use them correctly?
She used, but...
She used them, yeah.
Yes.
Not incorrectly. So again, that's 0. So that's out of 1. So you only have to get 1 right for that one. And then passive, did she use passive?
I think no.
With exams, she used passive.
Be finished.
I think it's not good.
Yeah, she didn't use it correctly. Yeah, we found some other ways which she could have used it, right? Okay, so we'll put 0 then. And then phrasal verbs.
Yes, she used look for. And fond of is also a phrasal verb.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So let's give her a 2 for that. And then idioms. I'm going to give her 1 out of 2 for that, I think, because she tried. She tried. And organization then. So overall, do we think the organization is good? Has she ordered it well? Yes, I think so.
I didn't remember the point, but I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so that's out of 3. So we're going to give her 3 out of 3.
I think the
I think so.
organization is good.
Yeah, exactly. So 3 out of 3. And then grammar, that's also out of 3. I'm going to give her a 1 for that. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, because she did make some quite basic mistakes there. But that's okay because this is a great, like, she's done so many great things as well. The tone was great, the vocab was great, and it was there. She just needed to be a bit more accurate. She just needs to be a bit more accurate. Okay, next one. All right.
Sarah, I have a question.
I will just stop sharing. Yeah. Yeah.
And with the sentence that is, the exams will be finished by this month, by then. And why do you use will and not would? I mean, because here starts the sentence talking in July would be fantastic. That would be, that would
because it's a definite. Okay, Maria, can you read the first 2 paragraphs out for me, please?
Yes, it's common knowledge that the change climatic is happening. Nevertheless, few people deny that, in spite of facts, speak for themselves.
Yeah, and the next one?
Me also?
Yeah, second paragraph too, please.
Okay, in my point of view, there are several aspects that it must change to improve the current situation. For example, related to energy. In this moment, it uses energy sources which have raised carbon footprint, as well as the fossil energy are becoming limited. It has to enhance to replace this kind of energy by renewable energy that do not have almost impact in the planet.
Okay, and Beatriz, can you read the next paragraph, please?
Yes. Another aspect is the wastage. In the development country, the kind of mind is have all the things, although it has the same, but is older. In the past, people had anything, and they bought other provided they could not repair. It must return to this philosophy.
Okay, and Adrián, the last one, please.
If our past generation did not have developed in this way, now our planet would not have been in this situation. People must change their habits and not to live a worse environment.
Okay, so what do we think about this one? Fernando.
It's easy to understand, no? I don't know.
Yeah, Do you think it's easier to understand than the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, have they answered the question? Is it clear? And is the structure good?
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and is the tone correct? Is it formal enough?
The what, sorry?
The tone, is it formal enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They've used some great, here, like, it is common knowledge in my point of view, for example, that those are all great things for formal writing. Is it accurate? Yeah, no?
Yeah, I think yes.
Yes? I would say in general, it's more accurate than last one, but there are still some grammar mistakes. Okay, so let's go through. It is common knowledge that the change climactic is happening. Yeah. What's wrong with that sentence? Change climactic? What's that? Is that? Pardon? Yeah?
It is common knowledge?
It is common knowledge is correct. Yeah?
Correct.
That change climatic?
It is common knowledge is correct. Yeah, sorry, I think my connection's a bit unstable. Sometimes I can't really. Yeah, so it is common knowledge is correct. That's a great way to start. But then it's this bit here.
Mm.
Change climactic. What should,
Climatic
what should they
change.
say instead?
Climatic change.
Climate change. Yeah, climatic is not really a word. Climate change. Yeah, or we can say global warming. I mean, different things, but you know, it's happening. Nevertheless, few people deny that in spite of facts speak for themselves. What's going on in this sentence? What do we think? For me, she's used way too many different sentence starters. She's just put 3 together. Nevertheless, people deny that in spite of. Okay, pick one, because they all have different meanings, right? Nevertheless, few people deny that in spite of facts. They have completely different meanings. So which one? I think we can use any of them.
I don't know why do you say it's wrong?
Because she's not adding anything. She's saying nevertheless, and then a few people deny that, and then in spite of facts, they're different sentence starters. Okay, so she's not saying, she's saying nevertheless, and then it's like going nevertheless, however, moreover. Do you see what I mean? Like it's they don't really connect well.
Sarah, if we invert the sentence, for example, if we say facts speak for themselves for that, however, there are still few people who deny it.
That is gorgeous. Okay.
I mean, because then you use the facts speak for themselves that it's an idiom.
Yeah.
And you are still adding information.
Yeah, exactly. What does that mean if facts speak for themselves?
That they are obvious. I mean, there are acts that you can see that I don't know how to say that.
They're obvious. Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. To speak for itself, themselves, it means it's just obvious. Okay, it goes unsaid. Okay, Esther, what was the rest of your sentence? The facts speak for themselves.
I don't know if you have to say then facts speak speak for themselves for that, or then the for that is involved.
It would be the facts speak for themselves.
And then just nevertheless, there are still few people who deny it.
Yeah. Or them, the facts, them, deny them. Or okay, great. So do we see, Danielle, do you see now why that didn't make sense before?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, great. Esther, that's a lovely sentence, well done. Okay, let's just do this next paragraph then. In my point of view, there are several aspects that it must change to improve the current situation. For example, related to energy.
I think that it's not necessary.
Yeah, exactly. Apart from that, that is perfect. And then in this moment, it uses energy sources which have a raised carbon footprint, as well as the fossil energy are becoming limited. What about this one, this sentence? Beatriz, what do you think? No, don't know. What about this bit? As well as the fossil energy are becoming limited.
I think that the fossil energy is not plural. It's becoming instead are becoming.
Exactly. We could say fossil energies, but that wouldn't be as correct, is becoming limited. And then I wouldn't say limited here, because limited implies it's being restricted, right? That like someone's controlling that. But that's not the case. I mean, within this context, that's not what's happening. So I would say a good word is depleted. Yeah, if resources are being depleted, it means that they're being used up.
As well as it could, I don't match with the sentence.
Yeah, exactly. What would you say instead, Daniel?
Moreover,
yeah,
for example.
Moreover, or furthermore. This is my favorite word for essays. Furthermore, whenever you write it, you feel so smart. Furthermore, fossil energy is becoming a limited, we could say is becoming limited, or is becoming depleted, or is being depleted would be more perhaps more accurate, or we could say is becoming a limited resource. Yeah. And then this next bit, it has to enhance to replace this kind of energy by renewable energy that do not have almost impact in the planet. Okay, this sentence doesn't make sense, does it? Why not? What doesn't make sense? Laura Cabo.
Enhance is like improve.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds weird.
Yeah. What would we say
Improve
instead?
to replace.
Yeah. And then I would also say that you need to be more specific, especially when you're writing essays. So energy has to become, energy consumption has to be improved. Or we have to improve this kind of energy, yeah? Or it has to enhance to replace this kind of energy by renewable energy.
I think he wants to say to promote the replacement.
Mm-hmm.
And we can use in order to. It has to improve in order to replace.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That do not have almost impact. Does that make sense? Almost impact? No, it doesn't. What would we say instead of almost?
I will say much impact.
Yeah. Or we could say comparable or the same. Or we could say a lesser impact. And then is it in the planet? Is that the right preposition? No, on the planet. Yeah, it's not in the planet, but it's on top of the planet. Okay, and then this next bit here. Another aspect is the wastage. I would say here, wastage is maybe not the correct. I would say maybe we could say global waste, or we could just simply say pollution. Yeah. Because wastage is like the specific, like trash and things and rubbish, but the concept is like waste or pollution. Okay, and then in the development country, the kind of mind is have all things, although it has the same, but it is older. What do we think about this sentence? Monse, what would you change there?
Make countries instead of country, because they are speaking about general development countries.
Yeah, I would also say she's used the noun, the development country. That's not the correct. We would say developing countries. Yeah, developing countries. And then we don't need the. And then here, the kind of mind is have all the things, although it is the same, but it is older. I think she wants to say the kind of mind set, or way of thinking. We can also say mentality.
But I think that she's trying to talk about developed countries, not developing. No?
That's true. That changes the meaning then. So then we say developed countries. Yeah, developed countries. Okay, Maria. That makes more sense. Okay, so yeah, it is difficult with the vocab with this one. In developed countries, the kind of mindset is have all things, although it has the same, but it is older.
Is have is from? Or
Pardon?
is have is from? Is having? Or
Yeah. Or I would say they, or is to have, not is have. But we can also use the word to possess. That's probably a better word to use. But anyway, we've just run out of time, but I'll just finish the sentence. All things, although it is the same, but it is older. And I think we need to use the plural, okay? So although they are the same, but they are older, okay? Okay, so we're gonna have to end there. But I hope that was useful, and I hope you can see the difference between those two writings, even though the second one was a bit, there were still problems with it. There were great things about those writings, right? The tone was great. They used some really great idioms and expressions. But yeah, if you have any, does anyone have any questions before we go?
Yes, about the first page or sheet.
Yeah,
You,
I'll send it.
If you can send me.
Yeah, I'm sending it now.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else, guys?
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, bye, Ale.
Bye.
It was an amazing class.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye.